I think the dream for me is I want to build a community. I want to build a community of people here in the Inland Empire that truly and deeply care about each other. And obviously, I want to do that through my church. And it's got to be a place where, everybody, the doors are wide open. Come on in. Come as you are. Learn what the Word of God can teach you about Jesus. Learn what it means to be a disciple. I mean, at one time I thought the disciples were the 12 guys. No, disciple is something he calls all of us to be, to follow in his steps. And so now I'm teaching that to people. And so I want to build that kind of community here in the Inland Empire, and then build a church and a community that my kids will find attractive. My kids will come back to. That eventually, as they go off on their journeys doing what they're doing, they realize they can always come back. And so it has to be a place that's relevant. It has to be a place that's loving, that's accepting, that's opens their arms wide to everyone. So that's the dream right now, to create that in the Inland Empire, and we're actually and then exporting that out to the rest of the world. And right now we're doing it. We're in a we had about 56 churches got 120 churches in like 56 nations on every populated continent of the planet. And so that's the growth that I've seen in the church, and I'm a part of that. It's been amazing. I got brothers and sisters in Poland. Right? I got a lot of them came from Kiev when the war happened. They had to be moved. The men had to stay. They were forced to stay. But the others, moved off to Warsaw and began to start a church there. And it's the same church. It's the same church with the same first principles and the same love and the same community that we've built all over the world. And they're going through a very tough time. I mean, they're going through a very tough time in Kiev, but that's kind of the dream now, So to build that kind of community and to, eventually make it such that, anybody can come, everybody feels welcome, and my kids will come back.
Right.
That's my ultimate dream, is to see each of them baptized. My daughter was baptized into Christ, and she left the church when she went to London. She decided that that's not what she wanted to do, and it was a hurtful time for all of us, for her in particular. She went through a tough time spiritually, but I want to build that kind of community that they'll always know that they have a home to come to. And my son is a perfect example. He's driving across the country by himself, heartbroken after his breakup, but he calls me when he's in Columbus. Hey, Dad, you got any friends here? I said, yeah, buddy, I got friends. I call my minister friend Colton. I said, Colton, man, can you hook up my son? He needs a place to stay. Oh, bro, of course. Colton's my family. Colton used to lead the ministry here in the Inland Empire. Now he's in Columbus, Ohio, doing the same thing. My son goes, stays with the brothers over there, has a great time playing music, because my son's a musician, and one of the guys there is a drummer, and they were jamming together, had a great time. Then he did the same thing, stopped off in Salt Lake City, with my friends. I mean, it just, and these are my friends from church, that I've run into in different places. One of the guys in Salt Lake City, I married him and his wife, but that's the community I have. And so my son, who doesn't even go to church, benefits from the community because of me.
Sure.
And he's just like, so I know it's going through his head. It's like, wow, these are good people. My son's going, these are good people. They're not just, wacky Christians. They're good people.
Yeah.
And so he experiences that. My daughter's experienced the same love. She went through a tough time in London. There's some things in the London church that she did not find kosher, but eventually left. And then my son LT grew up in the church, as far as what we call Kids Kingdom. Came up through the teens and stuff like that. But he's just decided, not for me. But yet I'm still holding out hope. He's 28. And I'm holding out hope that eventually, as he goes through his stuntman stuff and his dancer stuff and artistic stuff, that he'll come back and realize this is an incredible community to be a part of, son. It's always been, and my kids know in their heart of hearts, they know, they've they've loved the people. There's a lot of people they love that are in church. They just, I guess sometimes it's the dogma, they call it the dogma, or the lack of tolerance for alternative lifestyles. And I'm like, son, sin is sin. I don't care what it is, and whether you're struggling with this or with that, you got to come to conviction about what you know is right or wrong. And I've I see what the scriptures teach about certain things, and this is what I teach, but I don't look at one sinner worse than another. I don't, So once again, that's that community. If you read Colossians 3, oh my gosh, that's the church. It's so beautiful to see that church, and they had their problems, but this is what they were striving for. Colossians 3, it's beautiful.
Looking back at everything now, your life and kind of like where, is there anything like you want to, touch up on or, how do you feel about it? How do you feel like kind of your life has been and kind of what you were able to do and accomplish and, just like, where you started and where you're from and where you've become,
I look back and I'm filled with gratitude. I look back and I say, I've achieved so much of what I set out to achieve. I've been an integral part of a growing fellowship. There was a year where our church, grew to, I want to say 100 and, oh gosh, we were in like 140 some odd nations, and we were meeting with 200,000 people all over the world. And then there was a big schism, a big break, and that was heartbreaking, And so it's always kind of been my dream to bring the common elements apart, the positive things back. So I'd love to see that happen, but I have no regrets, no regrets. I've grown from all the things that I've gone through, all the challenges, that I've had personally, challenges I've had on a church-wide basis. And I just see, I feel like my greatest years are ahead of me, Right now I'm working on a project with my son called 59 by 59. So I'm doing a workout program and diet to lose 59 pounds by the time I'm 59, May 15th next year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my next, thing, my next project personally, to take what I've learned in recovery in some areas and put it in this other area, called overeating. So, and to try to get back in shape. So, just looking forward to stuff like that, getting better, continuing to get better. We have this book club my wife and I do called Books You Should Have Read in High School. And we're having a blast reading all the classics that I never read in high school. I wish I did. And we're inviting the whole community. Now we got about 300 people in the local area. And then I started it in D.C., 1,200 people over in D.C.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's hot. The book club in D.C. is flat. Awesome. This one's just kind of in its fledgling stage. But, reading the classic literature, I realized that every single author I've ever read is trying to find their way back to God in one way or another. They're trying to find purpose. They're trying to find meaning. They're trying to find love. I know where it is.
Yeah.
And if I could get that word out to everybody, it's like, man, right now we're doing this big fundraiser. We're raising about $750,000 for 28 different churches that we just started to continue to do the work. And as you know, $750,000 doesn't go a long way with 28 churches. It's like you're talking about spreading it.
Yeah.
But you got to, you're doing what you're doing, and I want to find those individuals who have all the money in the world, but don't have anything to live for, because money to me is a means to an end.
Sure.
I have no desire to be rich. I have this beautiful house in Rancho Cucamonga. 1 story, 3 bedroom. I just put an addition in the front, to make what they call a social yard.
Yep.
And so we can invite our neighbors over and stuff and really build community. And so I have what I need, and so the only thing I care about now is meeting people who have tremendous means and putting them together with people who have tremendous needs. And I feel if I can do that, in the midst of building this community that I'm trying to build in the Inland Empire, man, we could do some great work.
Yeah.
Not only in the Inland Empire, but all throughout Southern California, all throughout the United States, and, I just came back from New Delhi, a conference over there. And wow, a whole different way of life, Jovonni, a whole different way of life. Beautiful. But man, to be able to export this love, this community to New Delhi, to other places all throughout the world, man, that's my dream. That's the big dream, and that's what I look forward to doing. So I'm hoping and praying to meet those people, like I said, who've got means, but who really have nothing nothing to really spend it on other than themselves.
Sure. Sense of purpose. Yeah.
Yes, a purpose. Yes,
Yeah.
something to so that it could multiply. For me, it went from me to me and my mom, to me and my mom and my sister, to me and my mom and my sister and my brother and my other sister. I mean, there's a multiplicative effect of goodness that's happened. I'd love to see that on a worldwide level, beginning right here in the Inland Empire.
Yeah, I mean, the world economy, everything is kind of it's troubling times right now.
Oh my gosh, it's not easy.
So,
but community, you take care of each other.
It's more than needed to have.
Oh my gosh!
In some way, shape, or form, I think it's. I think you're 100% on it, and that's really cool. I mean, just we have a few questions for you, but I'm very humbled to kind of hear your story, and one of the things that I admire, right, is you're not just someone who's just trying to achieve a goal just to kind of achieve for find this financial gain or this agenda, right? Sure, there is an agenda, right? Your goal is to try to kind of I call it spread the fire, right? You want to be close to the fire. But the goal is to try to share that fire, right? Essentially, this burning desire to have purpose and meaning within your life, right? Your purpose being God, and you want to be able to share that to others, right? But it's not just that simple, right? You don't come from this past of just, everything's been rainbows and unicorns, right? For sure, on the outside, it does look like that. I mean, from the outside of the perspective, like you mentioned the artist, right? I know of your image of me, right? Excuse me, I don't know if I got that right.
I know your image of me is what I hope to be.
And so the image of people, they see you and this person of just someone who's aspiring to trying to be the best version of themselves, right? But you internally, man, you just feel like you always wanted to kind of do better and do the best, right? You always wanted to lead by example. You always want someone you've been fighting, right? And it seems like a lot of people, maybe from what I just grasped, not many people know what you're dealing with internally, but you're still you're always trying to make the world a better place. You're always trying to see the best in people. You're always trying to. It's so crazy because it's even you having all these things going on internally. You're not letting it stop you. You're not letting you're still. You don't take it out on you're still trying to work through stuff. You're still trying to surround yourself with the right people. You're the habits of what you're trying to, your soul is yearning for this sense of hey, I want to make a difference in this world. And not just superficially, not just oh, hey, yay, I got a master's degree and I did some stuff, but I actually help people make a difference in life. I save people in a way. And that's really cool. It's really, really cool to see this kid, become, this man of God. And it's so cool. It's really, really fascinating. And I'm really appreciative that you took the time to really kind of go into that, because some of these topics are not easy, especially in the world we're in right now.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about faith. It's a dangerous world. Talking about just
politically incorrect.
Yo, it's very dangerous right now. It's dangerous waters we're walking in. But the goal of this show was to just give people, the ability to speak the way that about what matters to them and what life has been like in your shoes and what life has been like, and how you've been going through, and every you're the people you're interacting with, you're able to contact these individuals who support you, and you have all these friends who are attorneys, and you have other friends who are becoming, they're working on big projects out here, and you're still showing them love and you're still showing them support, and even if they don't have the same faithful views, you still look at them in the light, because I think that's what a lot of people are nervous about, right? That people of faith look down on other people who don't have, and you don't take that approach, right? You take this approach of hey, yes, I have a strong faith in something, right? But they don't see you as less of or less than. You see them as just, hey, look, yes, we may not agree on certain areas, right? But we can see, you're still. You're still part of the family, right? In a way, right? You're still welcome to be around. You're still, we don't always have to agree on every single aspect, but my goal is always to do so. If I'm I know we kind of have this kind of left side red, right? Blue side, right?
Yeah.
We the goals, I think, is always to be a minister of the purple, right? The goal is to interact with every single person. We're all American, right? We're all people, right?
Yes.
We're all humans, right?
Yes.
So in a way, you still have to live with each other and work with each other. And it seems like it's really cool to see the approach that you're striving for now. I mean, obviously, it seems like your entire life, right? In a way, to have that balance and work with people and interact with them and show them that, hey, look, you can be, on fire for God, right? On fire for, your political views, or on fire for your social views, whatever you have, but still work with people and not treat them as if they're less than. And I love that part about your story. I love it. And I think more people should hear that, like a sense of just, hey, you don't have to be so polarized. It doesn't have to be so black and white, but at the same time, I have strong values. I have strong principles, and even though I'm super strong on those principles, I'm still willing to interact with you and work with you and talk to you. You're still a part of the world.
Because Jesus
so cool.
Jesus was.
Yes. Yes.
It's like it's as simple as that. Jesus was.
Right.
And I'm trying to be like him. The sad thing is that if you follow in Jesus' footsteps, you get crucified.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to do it because I know what he's done with my life, and I know the brokenness he's brought me from, and the brokenness he helped me realize about myself. Stop the facade, Lou Jack. Stop the facade. Tell people who you are, and then tell people where they can get help.
Sure.
And that's kind of where I'm at. And so, it's way less stressful.
Yeah.
To try to just be, to try to be real than to be an image. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Lou Jack Martinez. That was deep. I really appreciate that. So we have 5 quick questions.
Sure.
And then we call it the deep questions for
that
you.
Sounds great.
Right? And then we are done for this afternoon.
Thanks so much.
So this morning. I know this is kind of interesting from the dynamic of what you just kind of went through your whole life, right?
Sure.
So these questions are essentially supposed to be thought-provoking. The idea is to try to see if, can they help you get a better, get a better understanding of kind of where your mentality is at now, right? So first one is, what is preventing you from becoming the best person you want to be?
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great question. I think for right now, because I want to be fit. I was a college athlete. I played football, and so I played basketball in grad school, and I was a great shooter, playing in the Harvard intramural leagues, but I think life happened to me and kids happened, and so I think right now it's just learning how to, like I said, I think I shared it earlier, putting the recovery principles that I've learned in some areas of my life into this next area, which is eating better, healthier, and being more consistent in my workouts. Because I feel like, man, when I get the weight off and feel better about myself physically and be healthier, I am, I'm going to feel so much better about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel pretty good about myself.
Yeah.
But it's like, to this next level.
Sure.
And I think my kids I think it'll have an impact on my kids.
Yeah.
As well. And everything, everything's on dang social media now, and the doggone camera puts on 10 pounds. We're already 50 pounds overweight. That's pretty bad. So
Right.
here you go. I think the next thing for me that holding me back is just really not having right now the right coach in this area. And I'd like to get that, because I think once I have that coach, and I get on top of this,
the rest of it's just time and effort.
Baby, I'm looking forward to that. My wife's looking forward to it too. So.
In 5 words, describe how you think others perceive you.
Okay. I'd say charismatic, dynamic, approachable. I'm going to say friendly and approachable, kind of the same thing. Knowledgeable when they talk to me, so they know I'm well read, and I've got a lot of 58 years of life experience. And then another one that I think is I'm kind of grown out of, but I know I've been hit with it before, is superficial, because it's hard for some people to believe Is this really? Come on, what else is going on? And I always tell them. I mean, later on, but I do think that people can sometimes feel that I can come off superficially, and so it takes me a longer time to connect with them and get a little more depth. But yeah, I would say those. I think